Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. This is the podcast where we, and by we I mean me, Apple, and my co-host / co-founder Vincent, we dive into the streaming service. We tell you, the listener and the viewer, what is worth and what is not. As you can see, we're in high school. We're in high school today.
Why does this mean we're in high school?
Because we're wearing bomber jackets. That's like a high school thing. You know?
I don't know anyone who wore a bomber jacket in high school.
We had bomber jackets in high school.
Did we?
Yeah. One of our levers jumpers was a bomber jacket.
Oh, yeah, but they don't count because you wear them for a month, and because they, heads don't organise them and they come in, a month before you graduate and get out of there.
And before we graduated, it's like the heat of summer.
Yeah, that's right.
So no one's wearing bomber jackets. This is
fantastic. I paid, $60, $70 for this bomber jacket that I get to wear for a month. I mean, and then, you think about that, you understand why heads will wear them. They're 4 or 5 years out of high school and they're still wearing them. And
you understand why the capitalist game is just gonna consume us all.
Bro, don't start this off with that, okay? Talk about Spider-Man. Come on, give us the budget and the box office.
Hey, listen, the reason we dressed up as high schoolers is because the high schoolers in this very movie look exactly like us. We're doing Spider-Man. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Sam Raimi.
We are talking about 2002's very own Spider-Man. This had a budget of $139 million US, box office of $825 million. Now I'm out of order because you told me box office, but I forgot about the ratings. Had a 7.4 out of 10 on the IMDb and a 90% on the Rotten Tomatoes. Now let me give you the synopsis before I take off this jacket. Because this jacket's squeaking. I'm walking around here like that episode of SpongeBob when he's got the boots. Peter Parker's life changes when he is bitten by a genetically altered spider and gains superpowers. He uses his powers to help people and finds himself facing the Green Goblin, an evil maniac.
Bum, bum, bum.
And we are here, Vincent. Let me take off this jacket. Well, do you reckon it's all right? It looks good, right? But it's the sound. And we respect our listeners and viewers. So I'm going to take this off because sounds like we're doing animal balloons in here. You know what I mean? Hey, but here's the thing about this movie that I want us to talk about. One is we've talked about Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans on this show before, and specifically Spider-Man 2. And the reason we talked about it is because I think it's still a good movie. I think it still holds up.
I thought it was a good movie as well until I watched it again.
That's right. And Vincent rewatched it and thought it was not a good movie.
It was very low tier. So
I want to see, and I want to hear from you mostly what you thought about this movie in particular, because this ain't Spider-Man 2.
This is the OG Spider-Man.
This is the OG. This is the one that started it off. This is the one that started a lot of the movement towards the big superhero movies off. Not, that's not to discount Batman 89, because that was a big step in the right direction.
But there weren't really steps closely following that.
That's
whereas you had Spider-Man, you had heads after that. I don't know when that Daredevil movie came out.
It feels like it would have been similarly paced after this.
No, it didn't do quite as well, I don't think.
No, Elektra did even worse, but that's a movie.
I haven't even seen that movie.
I've seen it, and you get a person with swords, I'll watch it. And they're swinging them. So the other thing that I want to talk about is, where do we think that we're going to talk about Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man? We're going to talk about the fact that these are high schoolers and they're 40.
And they got Joe Mangaroni in
it. They got Joe Manganiello in there just looking like a 60-year-old,
Jeez, I reckon, they thought, hey, we'll just get him clean shaven and we'll put one of them chains on his jeans.
Yeah.
And he looked like a high schooler.
And spike his hair individual spikes.
Jeez.
And I get why they do the high schooler is actually an adult. Because we talked about waifus last week, but you got heads that go into these movies and they're developing feelings for fictional characters.
Yeah.
So please let that fictional character be an adult. You know what I mean?
Hey, if it's Joe Mangaroni, it's okay.
If it's Joe Mangaroni, you've seen him, and that's okay.
And then, they fed into that because they did Magic Mike.
And that's all about, it should have been called Magic Joe, is what it should have been called.
I mean,
But if we're talking M's and J's, it doesn't really work. But we are talking MJ in this movie. The final thing that I want to talk about is Green Goblin. And I want to spend some time on Green Goblin because is Green Goblin the best villain we've ever seen?
No.
Potentially?
No.
But we'll get into that and everything else.
When you do
on
things
today's
like that,
episode.
when you ask things like that, is that to get a bit of suspense for the listener, the viewer?
That is to get a bit
Is
of
that the
suspense.
purpose? Okay,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't just say what I think straight out the gate.
No, but now at least they know. Because there's some people that don't like suspense.
No? Question mark?
Because that's obviously you hit them with that, and then they think maybe I'll stay for more than 3 minutes.
That's right.
Because this is 3 minutes.
We're over 3 minutes, so
Yeah, so they're gone.
they're gone.
They're gone.
Damn.
Damn, but I mean,
And we
did that
talked
here.
about, what did we start off this podcast with? It wasn't even Spider-Man.
Capitalism.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, someone will stay. That's just the world we live in. Someone will stay.
I mean, we'll hang around for another 30 minutes at least.
We'll hang around. But should we just get into this, Vincent?
Yeah.
I want to hear from the start your thoughts on this origin movie, this origin story of Spider-Man.
So you talked to me about superhero movies, and we talked about this, off the pod because we're acquaintances in real life, so we talk occasionally.
We acquaint.
And I was saying, because you were talking about how you're a bit burnt out of superhero stuff. Marvel have been doing their thing for that long, and they just keep bringing out things, and it's just you just had enough.
Yeah.
And I was saying, nah, give me all the superhero stuff. I'll have it all. And things come up on Disney Plus, and there's more superhero things, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, I don't want to watch this. And then I realized that I don't want to watch any superhero stuff anymore
Because you're fatigued, you didn't even know it.
because I'm fatigued. But we got an asterisk here.
Okay.
Question mark. You give me an origin story, I'll watch that any day of the week. You give me 15 origin stories on Spider-Man, I can, with a high probability, guarantee I'll enjoy probably every one of them. I'll see Uncle Ben die 15 times, and one of them it'll just be like the rice. Because you only make 15 movies, you got to make one of them that's going to be wild. And Peter Parker in the store, and he drops the rice.
So is it
And that's
it's strictly Spider-Man origins though?
No. I'm talking origin stories.
You're talking origin stories in
You're
general.
talking X-Men Origins Wolverine. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know that's what you mean.
That's what I mean. I'm
That's what you
talking. You give me an origin story, I'll eat it up.
You like seeing a man get their powers.
I like seeing that transition. I like seeing, what happens from that. I mean, I think it's just exciting because when they're not the superhero, I mean, they're just an average Joe Mangaroni.
They're an average Joe Mangaroni.
So, I'm looking at that. I'm going, I'm an average Joe, not Mangaroni, but
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you're saying like this could be me.
I don't think that's specifically why I like it. I just think it's cool to see how things happen.
You're saying like, so back to what I was saying, this could be me, but I'm playing. That's what you said, right? To yourself throughout this movie. Is it, so the origin is a fun one, I think, but I think when you can get a bit too far into it, like as in when you said, I want to see 15 Spider-Mans, if I'm fatigued watching 15 Marvel movies in a row, I'm going to be fatigued watching Uncle Ben just get shot like six ways.
But the thing about that is you're not gonna get that in 15 of them.
No, you're
Like
right.
one of them you get the rice.
One of them you get the rice, and I know that
And it'll be directed by Adam Sandler, and he'll be like, "This is film."
I mean, dude, look, people can say all they want about Adam Sandler, but if you gave me an Adam Sandler like movie, put it in front of me, like unless it's Jack and Jill, I'll watch it.
I haven't seen Jack and Jill. The last Adam Sandler movie I watched was Uncut Gems, and that was a ride.
That was fire.
That's one you just think about, what is the meaning, and then you look at yourself after the screen goes black, and you're like,
That's it.
"That's it."
That's it. That is, if we're talking about capitalism at the start of this movie, like at the start of this show, we'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway, that's not the movie we're talking about. But bottom line, to wrap up this point, and maybe wrap up this podcast because
yeah.
who knows who's listening? We're 9 minutes in. Who knows who's still here?
I mean, you're here.
I'm here and you're here, and that's the main thing. I love an origin story.
Okay.
So by default, this movie was always going to be
So it translates to this.
Yeah. So I'm saying by default, this always had a good chance. As much as I don't really like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man that much, I think there's parts of his character that kind of make me laugh because Mans is I'm an awkward person in social situations, and I'm looking at that. I'm going, at least I'm not Tobey Maguire.
At least
Peter
you're
Parker
not running for a bus and then you take off the things off the side. Would you say that sometimes origin movies like this one can be playing it a bit safe. And maybe as a design, by design, the fact that they are an origin movie trying to start off a potential trilogy or quadrilogy or series.
They don't want to do something wild.
They don't want to do something wild. And then we get a movie that is fine. Because when I watch Spider-Man 2 and when I watch Spider-Man 1, I feel that this one was the safer one. Let's get Green Goblin. Let's get the main guy. Let's get the dude that everyone knows. Like if you know Spider-Man, you know Green Goblin, right? Even if you don't know Spider-Man, you might know Green Goblin. But let's get the basic superhero story, basic premise. Let's just tick all the boxes in this one and get a movie out there that people will watch. And then once that's done and we get our $895 million, then we can do our Spider-Man 2 where we start to get a bit more character about ourselves. We start to see, the goofiness of the director come through. We start to see the comic book nature, which in that case, as in from Sam Raimi's perspective, was like, comics are like a fun, goofy ride. Like, let's make this down.
Brother, you telling me this was not a fun, goofy ride?
No, I'm not saying that this wasn't fun, but I'm saying it feels a lot safer than what Spider-Man 2 was.
You're talking this not goofy as hell?
It's goofy. It is goofy.
Yeah.
Like, you got a J. Jonah Jameson, like, he's getting choked out by the Green Goblin. He's still got a cigar in his mouth,
See, I was watching this and I'm going, this is what I would expect Hollywood to translate a comic book to. Mm-hmm. Because it's got some of the classic
it
comic
ticks
book.
The boxes.
Green Goblin's looking like straight out the comic book. Well,
not really.
I'm not saying he's looking like he is in the comic.
Right.
I'm saying the way it's just, even though Mans is insane from the thing, there's no way someone would put that costume together and be like, man, this looks tough. You know what I mean?
Are you saying like a Hollywood type would put that costume together and say
No. I'm saying the Green Goblin specifically, like Willem Dafoe's very own.
You would say he wouldn't think this is tough?
No. I'm saying the what's the word? They're so animated,
like you're saying the mise en scene?
Costumes. Bro, you don't know about mise en scene. You start this thing off with capitalism, you better let me talk, all right? And I just think that it's just so not unrealistic. I'm looking for a word and I can't find it. And it might be mise en scene.
It could be. You're trying to say that like they're going for a comic book movie within a real world, a comic book within a real world.
No, it looks like a comic book.
Okay.
Because it's outlandish.
It's outlandish. Okay.
You look at the Green Goblin. That's an outlandish character design.
Well, I mean, and there is one thing, and a scene that I really love in this movie is the wrestling scene at the start. Like you would never see that in real life. You would never see a man going to a wrestling.
That's hilarious.
A wrestling thing. Not only does he go in there and the rest, like he says, for 3 minutes you get $3,000.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm quitting my job and going there.
That's right,
dude. You get $3,000 a minute.
Jeez.
Sit down, D Trump. Like I'm going to be up there. I don't even know if he's got that much money these days. Like he could.
I mean, who knows?
He's got more than me. He's got more.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. But you go into a wrestling ring as a superhero against just some jacked up like juice to just his veins. He have hands that are juicing, like they're doing their own thing, right? And then the man brings out a real crowbar to start just swinging at you.
That was hilarious when they put the cage down, and then they just here, pass my chair. Here's a crowbar. Like he's Bonesaw. Let's just give him a Bonesaw.
His name's Bonesaw. Like I am Bonesaw. Like Bonesaw is here. What was the man saying? He was saying something like that. Something along those lines. Like Bonesaw is here. Like that's what he said as he arrived. And we're like, well, I mean, we can see that. You're 50% of this ring right now. That's how big you are.
But I think what I'm getting at is that the movie felt like it was just wild.
But this is why, and you're a fan of that, right?
Yeah, well, I think it was fun because it was just, hey, this is a comic movie. This is wild. Nothing here makes sense.
And this is why I don't know why you don't like number 2 as much as you should.
Because I understand that this is the, I don't know. I just didn't like number 2. I was going to say something. I don't know why.
Because it's cheesy fun is what it is.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's cheesy fun, but it's trying to be a bit more serious, I think. I don't think it's
Well, he gets to expand
Okay,
on the character
so-
and their emotions a bit more.
Yeah, I think my issue with number 2, and I haven't watched it in a while now, is that it tries to be more serious, or it tries to have,
A great underlying
yeah,
plot for Spider-Man or Peter Parker as the character. Maybe.
yeah, but it kind of just, I feel like a lot of the lines are just a bit cringy rather than cheesy.
But you don't like it when, he stops being Spider-Man, his life starts getting better, and then like he sees police go by and he's just eating a hot dog, just happy as Larry, or in this case as Peter, and then they just freeze frames on his face as he's eating the hot dog. That's number 2, man.
I mean, I can't remember that, but that doesn't sound like something that I go, yeah, this is fantastic. This is cinema. Scorsese, what do you think, bro? Sean Kemp, yeah? I'm not thinking about that.
Hey,
this one I'm looking at and I'm going, this is just, they said we're going to do a comic movie and the executives at Hollywood said it had to be Hollywood. So this is what we've made.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I like about this era of Hollywood comic book movies. And there is a lot of CGI that is a bit janky now.
See, I think that's hilarious.
That is hilarious. And it's not bad that it takes you out of it necessarily, or it doesn't. It's not like when you're watching, what's that one with the man that like dies and goes to hell, then he comes back? And he's like, I'm from hell, but like I'm back.
I got nothing.
No, I got nothing either. But anyway, he's a DC character, I believe, and his whole costume was Spawn. His whole costume was CGI. And when you watch that in the movie, you see his cape flowing around in CGI. It looks disgusting.
See, this one is
can't watch
hilarious
that movie.
when he's jumping around and he looks like Mr.
Rubber Man.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing about this movie was it just is a little bit dumb.
It is. What I was going to get at with the point, what I like about this era of Hollywood comic book movies is that when there's the scene in which they're doing like the Macy Day parade or whatever that parade is, and Green Goblin comes through and just starts like shooting his son. He just shoots his son in the head, like his son's there and he's just shooting bombs at him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he didn't know his son was there.
I mean, he knew.
He knew.
I mean, he doesn't like his son anyway.
And then when Spider-Man comes and the Green Goblin's chasing him through the street and he's shooting and like the guns like can't aim at him, so they're just shooting next to Peter Parker. But as he's running, like that looks like you're there. Like that is on a set. That is alive, like a man on a hover glider thing with obviously there's some strings there or something, and there's a dude running in a Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
You don't get that these days. You get a head who might be up on there on like some green glider, and then you just get a green screen and some dude running on a treadmill. And it shows. And it shows when it comes to movies like, and this is one of the reasons why I'm becoming fatigued by things, it shows when it comes to these later Marvel movies because it doesn't even feel like there's 4 heads in the same room anymore. Whereas this feels like they're in New York shooting it up.
Yeah, I haven't watched one of the Marvel movies or the recent ones that
made you feel that way.
No, I don't think so. I don't think, but I'll watch a movie and I'll say, hey, they're fighting their superheroes. That's wild.
Yeah.
I'll look at Star Wars. I'll say, hey, bro, they're space battles. They're lightsabers. And you'll walk out the movie and you'll say, look, what about this, this, and this? And I say, yeah, that's actually a trash movie.
But I love that you always bring up that because that's the only time like you've agreed and said, yeah, that's a trash movie.
Yeah.
That's the only one time when we came out of the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah, because most of the other ones, we don't come out of the movie.
We don't come out of the movie at all.
In one of them, when we watched Kong's, what was it? King Kong versus Godzilla. No, it was
Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I walked out of the movie. I was like, oh, that was amazing. And then you and your cousins were saying, bro, that sucked. I can't believe we gave them our money. And I was sitting there like,
I wish I didn't support local that day.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When we watched
that was Spider-Man. Oh,
when we watched Infinity War, like we never left.
That's right.
We never left that building.
That's right.
We're still there.
I mean, we might be on the bus. We might be on the cinema.
Here's the thing. Will there ever be a greater movie? Will there ever be a greater experience, than that experience that we had?
I mean, in terms of experiences, that was it. Anyway, can we talk about Spider-Man? Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Let's get
I'm going to talk about, because I wrote a lot of stuff here, and I want to
hear it.
I'm going to think, okay, so what I liked is we just got Spider bit Peter straight at the gate.
They didn't need to do anything before.
That was fantastic.
You didn't even see Uncle Ben before that happened.
No, that's right. And you don't need to.
I don't need to see him.
That's right.
Yeah, let the man die. No, he's all right. He's all right.
But also, Mans look like they put in between blackface and his regular face onto his face. Like you could see they look like Uncle Ben. They look like they tanned him or something.
Right.
But the top where his hair was looking like.
Maybe Mans just wears a hat.
I mean, maybe. It looked like they'd put a bunch of foundation on him or something. Right. Which I'm sure they would have because it's, it's Hollywood and the camera puts on 10 pounds or whatever.
Yeah. Of foundation.
Of foundation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that they got straight into it. I think, and see, things like, which probably annoyed me in Spider-Man 2, didn't in this one. So things like, he gets bit by the spider, then he leaves, and then on the screen, there's some graphic slideshow of that exact spider and be like, oh, look, we did this and we got this DNA. Oh, new species, we did it.
Of like the DNA coming together. Yeah.
And they're thinking, hey, like, this species is gone. Oh, maybe they're testing it, or maybe, and it's building webs up in the corner.
When you're a scientist, right? You're doing science things.
Yeah.
If something that you're testing is no longer in its cage or whatever it is, alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah.
You're not just thinking, hey, man, that's respect to that for like getting out there. Like, let it live. Yeah. Let it live. And yes, Peter gets bitten, but also doesn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it's just a spider bite, and he might not know it's the spider. Might just think it's an irregular spider.
Well, he didn't see the slideshow because the slideshow came out after.
That came out after. But if I get bitten by a spider, I'm at least telling my mum, or at least in this case, my auntie. Who's like 82 years old.
Yeah, that's another thing. You come home and it makes sense because Tobey Maguire looks about 35.
That's right.
He looks like he's a divorcee who's just refinanced his house. And it makes sense that our main Uncle Ben, he's saying he's 68. Man's not 68.
No.
You telling me 68?
He's in his 70s. Man's is I mean, he's still
75.
working. He's still working.
He's got to be 75.
He got fired, but he's still working. We got laid off.
He got laid off.
I mean, because this is the first of the Uncle Ben's dying, I think we've become fatigued by the parent figure dying because of it happening in every single Batman movie and in most Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I don't get fatigued.
But in this case, like I found it to be fine.
Yeah.
The only time it becomes frustrating to me is in the third movie in which like a different man shoots him.
What? I haven't seen the third Spider-Man.
Okay, you haven't
I haven't seen the
sorry.
third Spider-Man. Sam Raimi.
That's a good one to watch because that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And like it's goofy. It's goofy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen the countless memes of him walking around the street and like pointing at people, which is, right. I mean, that's hilarious. That's
hilarious, and you love it when you see it. But you got some notes. So
I got some notes.
Tell me the notes.
One thing which I'm not sure about Tobey Maguire as a Peter Parker, because he just looks like a bit of a deviant sometimes when he's looking at MJ and looking at. He looks like he's got the waifu at home and he's drawn MJ on the.
Well, Mans is a nerd, right? Yeah. And in this case, the nerds like have no friends at all, or they have the prettiest girl in school and like the richest man in school. They're their two friends, but he has nothing going for him. Nothing going for him. And when there's those experiences when MJ's the only girl he talks to, that's what makes it even creepier. There's no other girls around him, even though Spider-Man does have other girls in his world that he talks to.
Every time.
And relationships and things.
Every time him and MJ had a conversation, I was just, something inside of me died.
Because he's looking at her thinking like, this is my wife.
Yeah.
And then he says, ooh, because he remembers the one at home.
But he's just so... It's just creepy, a little bit creepy.
I wish our podcast was better so we could have some discourse with these communities that we tease.
Yeah, why fools?
That's exactly right.
But the whole thing with Joe Mangaroni when he fights Peter Parker.
That's
hilarious.
It's a bad scene, I think.
Because, Peter Parker's at the locker. And Joe's about to just smack him square in the back of the head.
Just like
into the
locker.
Him.
Yeah. Coward knocks. Man.
I'm talking that's death.
Yeah. Especially the back of the head.
Yeah, back of the head and into the locker.
Yeah.
That's he's not Spider-Man anymore. He's like Spider-Man.
He's deceased man.
And
Joe Manganiello is probably just going to be like doing Joe Manganiello things.
Yeah. It is hilarious when he squares up and he's there like doing a boxing stance. Look, I haven't been in any or seen any fights at school when I was at school, or now, like because I'm in high school because I've got the bomber jacket.
Yeah,
but I mean, you have scuffles, but there's never like, hey, we're throwing fists, we're squaring up, like, hey, Dana White, ring the bell.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah,
he's there again. From last week, he was still there. He's here this week.
Joe's squaring up like Dana White's in the back saying, hey, if you do well, like I'll give you 200 to show up, 200 to win.
The funny thing about that situation as well is that no one around them, like I know there's like people around them, but no one around them's really like that interested in this.
No, that's right.
Because what's the reason?
Because he
other than him being like a bully.
No, he did this web and he flung the
tray
food.
Up.
Yeah,
but is that enough reason to like punch a man to death? Like punch a man.
That's what I mean.
There's not enough stakes for the people around him or the viewers of the movie.
But look, if you're a bully, you're not just. I'm saying this. I haven't been a bully.
You're saying Hollywood bullies.
I'm saying Hollywood bullies. Yeah. I've never seen it. Man just comes out throwing hands. Normally it's, hey, you press him up to the locker, you grab his shirt or whatever. You
spit on his face or something.
You spit on his face, not on COVID, maybe like pre-COVID you're doing that.
Yeah, but if you're doing COVID, that's like even more bullying.
Yeah. But it's just funny to see. And then you look at them and he's like 45 years old.
He is 45 years old. Now, you were saying that Tobey Maguire's is not the best. And I agree that the Peter Parker is definitely not the best. But when we look at the Spider-Man, when we look at his suit, first of all, I think that's one of the best superhero cool suits ever. Ever.
I want to know how man's made that suit.
I don't know how he got like the ridges on the web.
You're talking he went from a long sleeve shirt with and a balaclava or whatever to that.
I will say
how many Skillshare courses did he do on sewing? Because there is no way.
Yeah, dude, and that has to be breathable because he goes into a fire at one point. But I do love the wrestling suit that he makes as well, because that reminds me of the Scarlet Spider, which I think is the Ben someone spider, Ben Riley, which is the one with like the hoodie.
Oh yeah. I remember that from the game.
And also, I think it pops up in Spider-Man Life Story, which we've talked about ourselves before, but we won't talk about it here.
Yeah, because it would depress me.
But that suit, I'm telling you when I say this, is one of the best suits of all. Like, put the screen.
As in the regular Spider-Man suit.
The regular Spider-Man suit that he has.
It is pretty cool, yeah.
It's so cool. And I think that his voice as while he's Spider-Man is also pretty cool as well.
I would agree that I think he's good as Spider-Man, and he's making the quips and they're kind of half funny. But I think when you compare that to how he is as Peter Parker,
it's a big.
It's big because you understand. Hey, you're out there slinging webs and like throwing fists, and you're confident because no one knows who you are. You're the coolest dude here because you're a superhero.
You're the man.
But when you contrast that with how he is talking to MJ, he looks like he's thinking about what he's going to do when he gets home.
And that's why his room had all them webs in it when Aunt May walks in.
Jeez. One thing I was thinking the whole movie is, who's cleaning up these webs? Because you see them, they're just hanging there.
Are you saying did the city workers have to climb up to a telephone pole and bring it back down? I
mean, maybe that's creating jobs.
Because
the New York City government is going, hey, well, look at all these webs.
But if you look at the history of like New York City sanitation and cleaning services, it ain't good, man. It ain't good. There's strikes out the wazoo.
Yeah.
So if you start throwing Spider-Man in that makes it even worse. One of the things that I think is what you need in a Spider-Man movie. You need New York in a Spider-Man movie.
I think I know what you're going to say.
And when there's the last scene where they've got Green Goblin has MJ in one hand
stuff
and whatever the all the kids the cable car in the other hand, and the New Yorker is like, if you want to go through him, you got to go through me.
That honestly, I think things like that, like when. At the start, when Spider-Man just became, Spider-Man, and they're doing the interviews with all the New Yorkers.
Yeah.
You're like, I saw, my brother saw him. He's got 8 fingers, he's got 15 toes. And then some lady's going, a man with 8 hands, I can dig that or something.
Yeah.
And that's just, I think that just adds to It's hilarious.
That might not be New York either, but it's like our perception of New York.
Yeah, whatever.
You know? But
it's just
hilarious.
it just adds to the whole environment. And sorry, you did that, and I lost what I was saying.
Sorry, I was drinking as you were saying that.
Yeah. How dare you? Well, I mean that's it because I've forgotten.
It's New York City. It's New York City.
I'm going to go back to my notes.
Can we quickly talk about Green Goblin before you might even have that in your notes? But if there's anything else you want to hit in your notes, we'll hit that first, then we'll go green.
No, I'll see what I said about the Green Goblin. I mean, that's it, except for how
Man, I'm excited.
Harry Osborn's out here. I mean, sorry, when Green Goblin became Green Goblin, which was one thing I was thinking, he just murdered that doctor.
Yeah, dude. So funny. It's so funny that the rats are insane. His man's is like, yeah, we did this on rats. Like, they've gone insane.
Yeah.
Rats. What does an insane rat look like? Like, I know rabid. Like, I know that they might be, hyper energetic or something like that. But insanity.
They're sitting there with a psychologist and they're asking, so have you had any thoughts of, doing indecent acts to other individuals, other rats? The rat's just there like,
chewing up the chair.
They're just right there.
Like, they're insane rats. And you hear that a rat becomes insane. And I know they got little pea heads, but if you hear a rat comes insane, you're going to start injecting things into you.
See, that's what I like about this movie is it just doesn't make any sense.
It is, and that is the superhero thing.
Because they're going, Oscorp's going to be shut down because like these heads at, whatever that other place is making these exoskeletons, and they look at the demo and it's just a dude in like a tanning bed with wings.
Yeah.
And he's just up in there. Oh yeah, this is, the flight. Oh my God, what is that? And then the Green Goblin just
rolls in.
Yeah, but he's on his glider and he just goes straight through the man's.
Do they explain that they should know that it's someone from Oscorp?
That's what, it's their glider.
And again, that's what it is, right? That's the comic book things.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me there's no logs, there's no cameras of who was in and out that area, and that dude's just dead.
A scientist dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your stuff is stolen.
You know that there's going to be information that something happened there, and Norman Osborn was there.
He was two men there, and you would have known because there would have been some swipe keys or some admin staff or a security guard that saw these heads walk in, only one of them walk out.
And that's hilarious.
You take two men in the cage, only one walks out. Like one of them's dead.
Because they just say, "Hey, he's dead."
He's dead,
and that's all you hear about it.
That's all you hear about it. But the suit itself, it got a lot of flack back in the day because it was, the Green Goblin suit in the comics is more like a softer suit, right? It's more fabric.
It's
stuff.
like the suit that Spider-Man uses to go wrestling.
Similar to,
yeah,
right, and it has the real Goblin face. Whereas this one looks, I think it maybe even is a biker. Like it's got like a motorbike helmet that's been modified and things. And it looks like, mans could be on a motorbike and like taking a fall and get right back up.
Yeah.
But I love this suit.
Oh, I think it's fantastic.
It's great. And
because it's what I imagine someone from Hollywood going, hey, we need Green Goblin, but you need to make it look like cool. You need to make it look wild.
Yeah.
And dude is looking like it's goofy because it looks like, he just got off his Ducati. But the face with the teeth, and you can see his mouth in and the eyes.
And this doesn't work without Willem Dafoe being inside that suit.
Willem Dafoe is unreal.
He's unreal.
He's unreal in this movie.
There's two characters that I think in this movie have been perfectly cast. One of them is Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, and the other one is J. Jonah Jameson, who is, I can't remember the actor's name. But that scene when Green Goblin is in, I mean... Dude, if you ever like, they make J. Jonah Jameson obviously to be like a crazed just lunatic, right? Who doesn't care about anyone.
But he does.
But hey, in the darkest of times,
because he doesn't rat out Peter.
Yeah, the Green Goblin comes in asking him like, "Who's the man that takes photos of Spider-Man?" And he's like, "I don't know. I got that off the dark web. Like I got
off the dark web."
What is he? I can't remember what he says.
No, he says I get him in the mail.
That's right. He gets him in the mail.
Like some came in the mail.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're leading a business like that, you got some backbone to you. You're not spineless.
I mean,
But
you
he
got to
proved it
respect
then.
Jay Jonah.
He proved it then, and I think that's great.
Yeah, Jay Jonah is perfectly cast. I mean, you want more of him.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, yeah, and he's not joking in this. But the other thing that I've got here that was hilarious is Peter Parker is the dumbest person in this movie.
Yeah, and even though he's like a whiz kid, he's
a whiz kid,
he's dumb.
Because you think about he's doing Spider-Man things, and at the start you can forgive it because he doesn't know what's going on.
I mean, you have web comes out of your hands and you can climb walls. I'd be out there doing it in front of people.
Yeah.
I'd be getting people to be like, look at this.
That's right.
Yeah.
But then at one point when he's at the Macy's parade or whatever, the Oscorp parade, and he's literally taking his shirt off in the middle of like
as he's running.
Because
that's when the Green Goblin comes in, starts shooting things.
Yeah.
He knows MJ and Harry are up there, and he's just like, I'm coming out. But in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And he rips off. And I mean, that's obviously a homage to like a Superman style.
Yeah, it's just funny.
It doesn't make sense that you would do that in such an open space with lots of cameras around.
And then he's got the cut on his arm, and then he's Spider-Man in one room, and then 15 seconds later he's fully dressed. Mans couldn't have covered up his cut.
Even put like a spider web on it.
Also, the CGI when his blood dropped from the ceiling, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you look at that, thing and you go, well, there's nothing there. And then it drops and it's like Lake Air, before the drought.
The realization, I think there has been no better realization of someone being the superhero than in Spider-Man Homecoming.
I was about to say, I thought you were going to say this, and then I was thinking, Spider-Man Homecoming is pretty nuts.
But, this one reminded, when I was watching it, I was like, dude, Spider-Man Homecoming, that realization when they're in the car together.
But see,
and
that
they both
is...
know that, one of them is about to find out, but they both know that they're
that is more believable. You look at that and you go, okay, sorry, not believable. It's not like, hey, I accidentally left, my Spider-Man clothes over my bed. And he's gone, hey, I need Spider-Man. This was like Peter Parker's doing dummy things.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to get found out.
Are you saying that the Green Goblin figuring out that he's like Willem Dafoe for figuring it out is more believable than the other?
No, I'm saying if you didn't see that, like no wonder Oscorp going under.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I mean. In Homecoming, it was more. I don't know. Maybe they sold it better because it was kind of.
It was more dynamic.
He's doing the Zach Galifianakis' head.
Yeah.
Whereas Norman Osborn's gone like a 1 + 1, and he's done it.
It was more dynamic in Spider-Man Homecoming, which made it more intense as well because you're seeing it slowly unravel. Whereas in this Oscorp in the Spider-Man that we just watched, man looks at a cut and goes, "Brother, I remember that cut." Like that's what he does, and he should do that.
Yeah,
because like he's a scientist himself, or whatever he says in this.
Yeah,
movie.
He's something of a scientist.
He's something of a scientist himself, which is like meme culture, and we're back. Is there any other things that you got on the notes before we just hit him with like what we thought of this movie?
Let me have a look.
Also, did we agree that is the Green Goblin the best superhero?
No,
villain?
it's not. No.
Who would you say is the best villain? If you're not saying Green Goblin's up there.
Of all villains?
Of all villains.
Of all villains.
Of all villains. It's hard, man.
I don't even know.
That's hard.
I mean, maybe like Evil Abed.
Evil Abed's pretty crazy. Evil Abed's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't say that the Green Goblin is the best, and I feel that his character has been lessened for me
From
due
the newest
to
one?
the new one.
See,
that new one just came around and it slapped me in the face and it said, you don't deserve to have something you enjoy.
That movie sucked.
That's a real bad movie. And people don't get it.
No, people don't get that it was bad, but we'll tell them that was bad.
We'll tell them.
And I'll tell them that Spider-Man 2 is bad.
See, that's you got to rewatch that, I think, again.
I think maybe we can rewatch that at some point. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's about all I was thinking. I did really enjoy this movie. I thought it was fun. I actually felt like I wanted to keep watching it. And even though it was dumb idiot things most of the time, I was just appreciating it because it felt like that's what it was going for. Whereas my memory of Spider-Man 2 is that it was trying to be a superhero movie that was a bit more serious and a bit, not as I don't know, fully formed, I guess, or more. I don't know.
What about the scene when he's delivering pizzas and then he like comes out the closet in Spider-Man 2 and all like the brooms start falling down? Like that's hilarious. But here's the thing.
I'm not saying. I'm thinking the difference between those scenes like that and then the other scenes where they're trying to make it.
I think that Spider-Man 2 is exactly what you were saying. And I think that Spider-Man 1 is a safer version of that. I like both of them, but I think that Spider-Man 2 is the more superior one. And I also think that the villain is better in Spider-Man 2 because there's more to that villain.
See, I think
other than an insanity juice.
Yeah. See, but that's I think that's the beauty of this. Because they're just doing dumb things. He's going, hey, Spider-Man, Spider-Man messed me up. He's not going to be my friend.
He's not going to join my crew.
He's not going to join my crew.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
That's basically
That is pretty fun. And it is basic, which is good.
And yeah, I think that's what makes it, because it's just dumb and we're out here and we're just having a good time. And Peter Parker looking like a deviant.
Yeah. What's Goblin's end goal? Just kill people.
I think it's just, because he was saying like, hey, you can kill people. With me, you can kill people.
Yeah, imagine like
and Peter Parker's been like, I've already done it once. And then he sees Green Goblin again and he's like death and he goes, number two, completed it.
Yeah. Can I tell you something right now, right here, right now?
What are you rating this?
I rate this, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I was about to say, I reckon 7.5.
Yeah. Can I tell you something right now, though? That was Spider-Man, and this has been the Back Catalogue.
Talk soon.